Hi, I'm Brent, and the reason you're here is you typed in stay-at-home jobs, and that's what I'm going to help you with. Before we get started, I just wanted to point something out. This video essentially has two parts. Part one essentially is a basic how to succeed working from home. Part two is it has some links on a couple of ways to get started now working from home. Either working for a company that allows telecommuting or creating your own home-based business where you create something once and you get paid on those efforts over and over again. If you want to watch the entire video, part one and part two, just let the video continue. It'll go through part one and then on to part two. However, if you want to go directly to part two, just click the link that says part two and it will bypass part one and go directly to part two. Okay, let's just get into it right now. There's several things, if you're going to be working from home, that you're going to have to take care of. You're going to have to make sure that you're organized. You're going to have to get organized. You're going to have to set up a filing system. You're going to have to ensure that you have the right equipment. Do you have a fax machine? Do you have a phone? Do you have a computer? A good computer. If you're going to be working from home, you can't have any shoddy equipment because your job relies on it. You have to have a set workspace. You can't just do this in your kitchen and have your children, have your pets running around, making noise, distracting you. So you're going to have to set aside a specific area in your home that is designed exclusively to work from home. You're going to have to plan your day. You're going to have to set out time where you know, okay, from here to here, I'm working on filing. I'm working on the phones. I'm making return phone calls. All of this has to be spelled out. You have to be very computer savvy. If you don't know how to run a computer, because I'm telling you right now, business is all computerized, and you're going to be having to enter information on the computer. You're going to have to know the software. You're going to have to buy the software if you don't have it currently. All of that. You're going to have to avoid home distractions. You can't just sit there and say, oh, you know what? I'm hungry. I'm going to get up and go get food out of the refrigerator. Or when you get up to get something from the refrigerator, since it's your break time, then you're going to have to set aside specific break times. You can't say, okay, well now, oh, I could put in some laundry now and then come back to work and then have to get up and go, oh, now I've got to fold the laundry. No, no, no. No home distractions. When you are working from home, you have to work from home. You set aside, just like when you go to work, you set aside these hours are work hours, nothing else. No one can interrupt you. The kids can't come in and say, Mommy, I'm hungry, or whatever, or Daddy, I'm hungry, or you're going to have to remember that. Limit the number of times that you're going to be checking your emails. You know, you're going to be getting emails all day long, not only for work, but personal. You're going to be on the computer all day long. So don't be jumping on YouTube or Facebook. This is work time. Everything has to be set aside. You got to work on brushing up on your communication skills. You have to not only communicate concisely via the phone, but also via Skype and via emails. You have to be very specific. Don't go out there and say, okay, I'm going to call you back at 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock what time? Eastern Standard Time? Pacific Time? Greenwich Mean Time, 9 a.m., 9 p.m. You have to be very specific, especially when you're working from home. You could have clients around the world depending on which company that you're working for. Like I said before, you have to have set office hours. You have to take breaks, because a lot of times if you're working from home, if you'll just be sitting there working away, look up and say, oh wow, the day's over with and I've taken no breaks. You've got to take some breaks. Just limit your breaks. Don't, like I said, don't say, okay, I'm going to get up and take a 10-minute break, and then an hour and a half later, after you've done the laundry, folded the laundry, etc., then come back to work. That doesn't work. Like I said, don't handle personal tasks during work hours. You can't communicate with your friends while you're working from home. You got to let them know, okay, don't call between these hours because I'm working from home. And you got to maintain a healthy lifestyle, because you're going to be working from home. It's going to be sedentary. You're going to sit in your chair talking on the phone or typing on the computer all day long and not leaving the house. If you don't watch it, you're going to stay in the house all week long and never get out. You've got to set aside some time to get out, work out, shake off the dust from you. I mean, you're going to have cabin fever if you don't. Also, you got to keep your supplies within reach. It goes back to getting organized, like I stated at first. If someone calls and you, oh, I've got to jot something down, but my pen's in the other room, or I've got my paperwork in the closet back, the next room over. Keep everything handy. Also, set up an area that is Skype friendly. I know people do this all the time. They'll say, okay, well, now I'm going to do this conference call, Skype, with my boss. And they turn on the Skype call, and behind them is folded laundry, or a cat, or their drinks, or something very embarrassing. So you've got to be cognizant of that. Keep that in mind. Conduct business during traditional business hours. You can't, okay, well, I'm going to start making phone calls at 3 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. No. You've got to conduct business during business hours. Unless it's something where, for instance, you're a computer programmer and you can get up and you can do your computer programming without contacting people at 3 a.m. Okay, but most of the jobs out there are customer service related or healthcare related, and they've got to be conducted during normal business hours. Don't discuss your personal life during your work hours. You don't want to sit there and describe, oh, well, yeah, this back in this cul-de-sac, and my home, and this and that. It's business. No one should know where you live. Just like when you're at work, you don't describe, okay, I live in this cul-de-sac, I live by myself. Don't discuss personal stuff during business hours. Avoid multitasking. Like I said, you could get distracted where you're working, you're typing, and all of a sudden, ding, the laundry goes off. Or barking dogs or whatever. Maintain your focus. Get organized. One thing, don't skimp on your equipment. Don't go, okay, well, I can buy this $100 computer and it'll get me by. Well, first off, it's not going to get you by. It's going to crash. It's going to be slow. If you don't have the computer, buy a nice computer, because you're going to be on it 8 hours a day or more, depending on what you're doing. Buy a nice chair. You got to be comfortable. You don't want to be sitting on a wooden kitchen chair for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. You're not going to like it. I can tell you. Been there, done that. Don't want to do that. And stay connected. When you're at home working away from your company, it's very easy to be isolated. You need to set up routine Skype calls with your company, your supervisor, other people that are doing the same thing with you, just so you feel some camaraderie, some connectedness. You don't feel so isolated. What I'll do is I'll put a link at the bottom of this video to one site in particular that it's free site that has freelance jobs out there that you can look at and give you some idea of what's out there. And there's lots of scams out there. There's lots of crap. But here's a site that will give you a start. I don't want you to think that, hey, I can just start this at home and I can do it for, start off for $5 and not be able to, or be able to make a great living. You're going to have a desk. You're going to have pens, pencils, paper, a computer, phone, all of that. It's going to cost you, if you don't have this stuff, it's going to cost you several $100s, if not $1,000, to get a nice desk, a nice computer, a nice printer, nice fax machine, nice copier. You can get a copier, fax, all of that together. And if you don't have a home phone, well, you may need to get a home phone if you're going to be faxing stuff. These are all the things you've got to think about. Well, there's a brief description of basically working from home for another company out there. But if you decide, like I did, to actually go out on my own and start my own company so that I do the work once and I continue to get paid on it over and over again, and I can do this anywhere in the world, in over 200 countries. So if you're interested in something like that, rather than working for somebody else, click the link below or go directly to www.planbomg.com. I'll have a link at the end of the video. Check it out. You might enjoy it. Well, there's a brief description of basically working from home for another company out there. But if you decide, like I did, to actually go out on my own and start my own company so that I do the work once and I continue to get paid on it over and over again, and I can do this anywhere in the world, in over 200 countries. So if you're interested in something like that, rather than working for somebody else, click the link below or go directly to www.planbomg.com. I'll have a link at the end of the video. Check it out. You might enjoy it.